Welcome everyone to Every Woman Empowered's Chick Chit Chat.
Yeah.
And I am your host, Shauna J. Cerniak, the founder of Every Woman Empowered. And today we have my co-hosts,
Johnny Galarno, international artist and resident artist of Every Woman Empowered.
Certified laughter yoga instructor, founder of Let's Laugh Yig, and happiness ambassador for Every Woman Empowered.
And today our special guest is Kwame Osei, the man that's trying to make a difference. Welcome, Kwame.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, ladies. It's
Oh,
truly an honor and a pleasure to be here with you all.
thank you. Thank you so much. You have done so much in your short period of time here on Earth. And I got to say, you are showing others a pathway of what can truly empower and make a difference in people, because your life hasn't always been easy, but you chose a path for yourself to make a difference. And I just want to have you share with us a little bit about you growing up and where you grew up in Toronto and kind of where your life was when you first started off.
Well, first off, I'd like to thank you for emphasizing my short period of time on this earth, because I like to stay connected to my youth. Yeah, I grew up, so I was born in Ghana, West Africa, and I came to Canada at the age of 4. And when I moved to Canada, I lived in Rexdale, which is an urban community in Toronto. Just like any urban communities, is there's high gang rates, high violence, drugs, and growing up, the people that I saw around me, like the black males around me, were guys that were involved in all those things. And that was like the stereotype. I didn't really have anybody positive to look up to. And the people I looked up to were guys that are making money, the drug dealers, the gangsters, and all that stuff. And I never saw anything positive in doing good, And then I was also heavily influenced by what I saw on TV and what I saw within rap culture. And I associated that as the identity that I had to take on. So that was me. That was my life. That was my life growing up. I got involved in that type of lifestyle. And if it wasn't for football and a few caring individuals, I wouldn't be where I am right now. And my passion in life right now is just to be that person that I needed when I was young. When I was young, I didn't have anybody to look up to. So I feel like if I'm able to tap into the youth of this world and be relatable in so many different ways, whether it's being a guy who struggled growing up, or being an athlete, or just being a positive person, I feel I could tap into so many different demographics and so many different ethnicities of youth. And I feel like if we want to make the world a better place, we got to tap into the children, because they're the future.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So Kwame, so was there a specific catalyst for change that made you want to change your life and not to be like those people that you were surrounded by?
Honestly, it was just a chain of events. When like bad things just keep happening to you, and it's like, okay, when are you gonna wake up? From I had a few near death experiences. I got stabbed before. I had a gun held at me before. I got in a car accident that like most people would have died from, and I stayed alive. And it got to a point like I lost many friends due to gang violence, due to being shot and stuff like that. Many friends, like things that, when you grow up in that environment, you think it's normal, but then once you get out of it, you realize it's not normal. So I'll say the catalyst, in a sense, was just leaving that environment and seeing the world for what it truly is, seeing that there are nice people out there, seeing that I didn't need to be that person in order to succeed, in order to live. Making it to the age of 21 was something I never even thought of. Making it to university was something that never even crossed my mind. And being the first person in my family to graduate from university was a big deal. But I'd say the catalyst was maybe leaving that environment. And even prior to that, I'd say a teacher investing her time in me, because I would have never been able to leave my environment if I didn't have the grades. So short story, in grade 9, I failed every class except for phys ed and drama. Those are the only two things I like, And when I would show up to school, and this is when I barely showed up to school, but when I would show up to school, I was a troublemaker. I was a troublemaker. I was either high or drinking some type of alcoholic beverage before class. I don't know why I was doing this in school, but that was what I thought was normal and cool, because that's what I saw all my friends doing. That's what I saw on TV. So I emulated that. And I failed every class except for those two classes. And in grade 10, they stream you, right? In Ontario, that time we had basic, general, and advanced, right? And I was put in all basic classes in grade 10. So in my grade 10 English class, I was learning words like cat, dog, mouse, like simple words in grade 10. In my math class, I was learning simple multiplication and addition and subtraction. And that was one of the lowest points in my life in terms of feeling intellectually inadequate. I just felt inferior to everybody. I was embarrassed. Like when some of my friends or people I went to elementary school would walk by my class, I would often try to hide because I just didn't want to be in that environment. And that there's nothing wrong with that, because those classes were meant for people who needed to be in that. Like that was an ESL class. Essentially, that was the class I was in, So those people are new to the country that needed that class. And I knew I wasn't at that level, but I felt like I was supposed to be at that level because that's what I was streamed into. And there was a teacher, Miss Govea, man, she saved my life. I was in her math class and she told me, she's like, Kwame, I think you could do general work. Like, you're not at the basic level. And she said, you know what? We're gonna do general work in this class. You're gonna stay in this class, which was a small class, was probably perfect for me, but you're gonna do general work. So she ended up giving me the general credit. And looking back, the only reason why I even tried was because I knew she cared. I knew she took time out of her day to help me out. So I ended up getting the general class credit, but the biggest thing was the year after, in grade 11. So in grade 11, I was in an advanced English class, math class. And now I'm around like smart people, right? And I'm struggling, I feel like I just learned differently. And what this teacher did is the reason why I say she saved my life, because I wasn't in her class at that time. I had a totally different teacher, but she still tutored me. She tutored me after school and she invested extra time in me. And there's no better feeling than writing a test and knowing that you understand what's on the paper. Like, it feels like a practice quiz. It feels like your homework. There's no pressure. You're not struggling. And back in those days, I used to cheat all the time. I used to be peeking at people's papers. But at that moment, like I felt so like sufficient and so powerful. Like, and getting your answer, your test back, and realizing that you're in a high percentile of your classes. Right, you're just as smart as the smart people. So she built a level of confidence within me that I didn't know I had, and that led to eventually get into university, But my behavior outside of class wasn't good at that time, but like the seed was planted, you know what I mean? The seed was planted, and I'd say that, along with leaving my environment, was the catalyst for change.
And you have not one, but 2 degrees, right?
2 degrees, yes. I have a degree in kinesiology, human kinetics, and then I have a degree in education. I'm also a teacher.
Wow. Well, shout out to your teacher.
Yeah, shout out to Ms. Gouvet. I actually saw her for the first time a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
I hadn't seen her in like 12 to 15 years. I don't want to date myself, but I put out, so what I did was I put a post about her, just about what she did for me. And then a friend of mine that I went to high school with included me in a Facebook group for our high school, an alumni group. So I was added to the alumni group and I put a picture of her. I was like, is anybody still in contact with Miss Govea? I just, we just want to say thank you to her, And you know what's funny? I realized I wasn't the only person that she impacted. There was like 50 to 60 comments of people saying similar things of how she just had a positive influence in their lives, how she made math fun, how she made school fun. And I realized, man, this lady was someone special. And eventually it got back to her. We emailed each other, we met for lunch, and we talked for like 4 hours. And
Wow.
it was just a phenomenal feeling. It was kind of weird, like talking to your teacher, like, we're like adults, you know? But man, God bless her soul.
No kidding.
Wow.
And you know, there's something to be said about teachers like her, because they're a rarity. And when you find that teacher that dedicates and believes in you like she has, that can make such a difference to a child and can really change and impact a person's life, just
Yeah.
like she did yours.
100%. And like, that's something I think every teacher needs to understand, is that like they have so much power within them, within their tongue, within whatever comes out their mouth has power. Like kids are, at the end of the day, a teacher is like a kid's parent, you know, and we don't realize some of the things that these kids remember. Like myself as a teacher right now, like years go by and some of the kids that have graduated will come up to me and tell me something I said to them that they needed at that time. And I was just like, oh shoot, like I didn't know it was that serious, but you know, I'm glad, you know, it helped you, you know. And that's something as educators, and I don't even say just educators, as adults, we need to take seriously. You know, that's a serious responsibility. Any interaction we have with kids, whether it's verbally or visually, you know, because they're always watching. They're always watching. Everything we do, they're watching. So we need to be cognizant of that.
It's amazing that
Absolutely.
it's so amazing that you're getting to be that role model in a positive way for other people. And speaking of amazing, can you tell us about can you tell us about your experience on the Amazing Race Canada, how you feel it empowered you and how it's been inspiring other people?
Man, you know, I'm always trying to find another word to describe it. Every time people ask me, I try to find another word, but I can't. Like, the word is amazing. It was an amazing experience, as cliche as it sounds. Just being able to travel the country and see so many different parts of this country that I probably never would have seen was a phenomenal feeling. I'm a kid from Rexdale, and I just told you, like, that was a rough environment I was in, and going away to university was like great in itself. You know, that was eye-opening in itself. Now picture seeing a place like Dawson City, Yukon, where like it's kind of like stuck in the 1800s with the gold rush and everything, or the early 1900s with the gold rush and everything. Like, it was so educational. So I learned so much about this country. I learned how beautiful this country is, and I highly advise anybody, any Canadian, to really like take the time to invest in like traveling the country. Like from the east to the west, there's so many gems. Winnipeg was one of my favorite places. Also, the human rights.
Winnipeg?
Yeah, Winnipeg.
Okay, that I wasn't expecting.
What'd you say? You were expecting it, or you
I
weren't?
said I wasn't expecting you to say one of your favorite places was Winnipeg.
You know, it was because of the Human Rights Museum. I learned a lot about the country because of the Human Rights Museum, with the indigenous culture, with what Black people had to face in this country. And like, prior to that, I kind of knew a little bit, but like, we actually took the time to read some of the stuff that was at the Human Rights Museum, and it was good to know. So like, Winnipeg for sure. As I said, Dawson City, Yukon, and also just to even go to a place like Jakarta, Indonesia, you know, Mexico City. I got a free trip to different places in the world and all across Canada. So if that's not amazing, I don't know what is.
So who's that? That's going kind of vocal back there.
And that's my son. He always wants to be around me.
Perfect segue to my next question. I want to know, what inspired you to make a children's book?
Man, so this is my second children's book.
Wow.
Yeah, this is my second. The first one wasn't as publicized. The first one was about 6 years ago, just after I graduated from university, and that honestly happened by accident. I would always give motivational speeches to people in Nova Scotia, rural Nova Scotia area. And I'd always say a story that pretty much emulated my life in terms of growing up in Rexdale and not being a product of my environment, because like what I said, I looked up to the wrong people. So it's about an eagle and a pigeon, right? Eagles and pigeons, like eagles soaring high, pigeons kind of like, you know, just eating, scavenging garbage on the floor or whatever. And just understanding that you have the power to soar high, right? And I would say the story to a bunch of kids, and a friend of mine told me, Kwame, you need to put that in the book. And I said, I'm not an author. I'm not an author. Why would I write a book? I can't write a book. And she encouraged me to write a book. She said we could get some of the props to help edit it and whatnot. And so I did it, put it out there, and it was an amazing feeling in itself, because I knew that the main reason why I did it, it wasn't about being an author. It was about being able to connect with people without ever meeting them. Because one of my passions is speaking. I love speaking to kids. I love speaking to youth and empowering them. And I know I'm probably not going to be able to meet every kid, but every kid has the opportunity to maybe read my book, right? So that's why I did that. And with this book, I was 5 years ago, I was training a soccer player, a female soccer player, and very gifted athlete, great kid. I've trained her since she was like in grade 8. Right now, I think she's in, I don't even know what grade. She just graduated high school, actually. And 5 years ago, she was getting ready for a big tryout. Like this was like the provincial team. And she's always a good athlete. Like when we train, she does some phenomenal stuff. But one thing I noticed about her is that when the pressure was on, like she just kind of crumbled, right? And she acknowledged that, like she was nervous about this tryout, and she always performed bad at tryouts. So I asked her, I said, Hannah, let me ask you a question. I said, when, let's say me and you are walking and we see a turtle on the ground and it's in its shell, right? I said, are we seeing the turtle or are we seeing the shell? What are we seeing? She said, the shell. I'm like, why? She's like, because the turtle's hiding in the shell. I'm like, okay. I'm like, so when you're at these tryouts and you're not performing to the best of your ability, are these coaches seeing your true self, or are they seeing a lackluster version of yourself? She said, they're seeing a lackluster version of myself. I'm like, so why don't we let them see who you are? Why don't we be like the turtle, and why don't we let the turtle come out of the shell so we can see it? Why don't you come out your shell and let the coaches see who you truly are? And the moment I said that in my head, I was like, oh my gosh, that's a book. That's a book right there. So that night I went home, I started writing the plot, writing the story, and I knew it had to be done. So I wrote that like 5 years ago. And then we're literally that same a year after that, I got my illustrator, who's also a former student of mine for my first year of teaching. And he did my illustration for my first book also. So I talked to him, and then we came up with illustrations for the book, Turtle in the Shell. But unfortunately, the character looked too much like another turtle children's book character. Do you guys know who I'm talking about?
I think so.
What?
Franklin?
Yeah, yeah. He looked too much like Franklin, like way too much. So I was like, yeah, this is not gonna happen. I don't want any lawsuits or anything. So we went back to drawing board, and he changed the illustrations, which I think are even better than they were before. And yeah, the book was honestly done about 2 years ago, but I procrastinated. I'll tell you guys the truth. I procrastinated, and COVID-19 honestly sparked the fire in me. I wasn't working, and I had a lot of time with my family, spend time with my son, and I'm here seeing on the news people dying every day, and I said to myself, like, what am I doing? Like, people are dying. What if something happens to me? And if I passed away, I would have left this book within me and never shared it with the world. So I took the time to devote like 4 hard weeks of just grinding it out with this book, self-publishing it, and now I'm just happy it's out in the world, and hopefully it's going to impact lives and going to get children to share their gifts and talents with the world without ever being scared of being judged and or being judged or scrutinized, and just be free. You know, we all got gifts and talents. We can't live our lives afraid of what other people will think, whether it's our talents, whether it's our thoughts or sexuality or gender or race, whatever it is. We just got to be free, because the more we share with the world, the better we make the world.
Absolutely. Well said.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well said.
Got you.
Yeah.
So, since you've said that, and this is how you kind of dealt with COVID too, I mean, because you have done so many different things, what's your next goal? What are you striving towards now?
Honestly, my aim in life, I just want to serve. I just want to serve in whatever way, whether that means through public speaking, whether that means being on TV, whether that means being a coach, whether that means being a great father or husband. I just want to serve and just share my gifts. And as long as I'm fulfilling my part in this world, then I'm happy. You know, so I don't have specific goals. I just know that I just want to serve, and that comes in so many different ways. So that's it. I don't have any specifics, but I just want to serve. You know, because I know the process of giving and receiving starts with giving. So the more I give, you know, the better I feel. You know, the more I feel like I'm doing something. I'm helping society. You know, and if you're not helping society, then what are you really doing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And those opportunities always place themselves too. That door gets opened for you, and you go, "Oh, I hadn't thought about maybe doing this," and then I'm doing something completely different, right?
You're right on point with that. That's literally been my life for the last 7 years, to tell you the truth.
Right.
You're right on point.
And that's because you're so open. So that
Yeah.
I can see that.
Great point. Exactly. Because like, if you're not receptive to opportunities and you're not receptive to new things, then like things aren't going to happen. You know, so you could have your dream job or your dream situation right in front of you, but if you don't have the mindset, first of all, if you don't have the mindset, if your mind hasn't shifted, if you don't have your mindset is stuck in 1990 something, or a negative situation that happened to you, you're never going to see the opportunity that's right in front of you. So
That's right.
we have to be receptive to what the universe wants to give to us.
You know, and you're absolutely right. And it sounds like you're a man too of strong faith and spirituality. Am I correct?
Yeah, you're pretty on point with that.
Yeah.
More so spirituality. Actually, both. I'll say both. But lately, I've been like diving into spirituality.
Yeah, and I think that spirituality is, when you have that belief in you, it does make it, like, from myself, it makes a huge change. I want to give, I want to make a difference in this world, just like yourself. I love speaking, and I want, when I leave this earth, I want people to know that I didn't just spend my time doing nothing, that I actually did something. And you are showing in so many ways all that you have impacted. I mean, from playing football to being a football coach, to getting 2 degrees, to going to being a father, a husband, an author, you know, going on America's Greatest Race, to speaking to others and sharing like you are today. You're impacting lives. And, you know, that is a true mentor. That is someone that people go, yeah, whatever he's got, I want that. So good job, Kwame.
Thank you
Good
so
job.
much.
Very important.
I think, you know, just to touch on spirituality just a bit, when you understand how the world really works, when you understand that we're all connected in one way, shape, or form, when you understand that you're just a little itty bitty piece of everything that's going on, and that it's not about you, you know, when you understand that and humble yourself, it's a whole new feeling and a whole new perspective on everything you do, you know. So my thing is, I'm not just a football player. I'm not just a coach. You know, I'm not going to put myself in a box. I make sure I diversify my networks, I diversify my experiences so that I can connect with people of different races, cultures, careers. You know, so and I encourage it. I'm talking to a lot of athletes right now. I encourage each and every one of you guys, and I tell my coaches all the time to diversify their networks. So I challenge all the young athletes, diversify yourself. You know, learn more about different things, because if you stay here stuck in this little area this whole time when there's so much out there in the world, you're holding yourself back.
That's right.
Absolutely. So I'm going to just kind of light things up just a smidge. But it is a serious question. Okay. If you were an ice cream, what ice cream would you be and why?
Ooh. What ice cream would I be?
I told you it was deep.
Yeah. I was like, what? I'd say I would be a cookies and cream ice cream.
Ooh.
Reason why I love cookies and cream.
Well, okay.
And second of all, I believe we all have duality within us. Like just like the yin and the yang. We all have a lot good and we have some negative, but it's about the balance. You know, and the cookies and cream has a little bit of both. It has the vanilla and it has the Oreos. You know, it's a little mixture. So I see that as a yin and a yang combination.
Love that.
That's a great answer.
Thanks. I was thinking on your toes. I surprised myself when I thought of it.
That's awesome. Kwame, can you teach us your favorite pump up football chant?
Ooh.
Okay. My favorite pump up football chant. Is this a chant or something I say to myself?
Either or.
I don't know if it's appropriate for this.
Now we really
Okay.
need to know.
All right, I got you. Okay. When I say line them up, you say knock them down.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
When I say woman, you say rule. Rule, like women rule. Okay? So I say line them up, you say knock them down. I say woman, you say rule. Okay? And then after I'll say what's this podcast called again?
Chit Chat.
Okay, Chit Chat. Chit Chat on 3, 1, 2. Okay, and at the end I'll say Chit Chat on 3, 1, 2, 3. Chit Chat. You all have to say it. Okay. All right. Line them up.
Knock them down.
Line them up.
Knock them down.
Line them up.
Knock them down.
Whoa, man.
Rule.
Whoa, man.
Rule.
Whoa, man.
Rule.
All right, Chit Chat on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Chit Chat.
Let's go. Let's go.
Thank you.
Love it. Thank you, Kwame. I think that is absolutely awesome. You are an incredible man. It is an honor to have you on our Chit Chat today. We wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors, in your book, with your family, and thank you for taking time to be a part of our show today. You take care, Kwame. All the best.
All right. Bye.
Thank you.